HUF or tax too?
Good afternoon, everyone. So today I am here to give you some insights about HUF. What is HUF? As you have already studied in 11th and 12th commerce, but here I am here to tell you more about the taxation, how the taxation in real life works. So I am Brunari Pradeep Rane from S. and Associates. Came here to explain you what is the taxation rules for HUF. So let's get started. As you can see, this is an introduction which is given in the Act, Income Tax Act 1961. So what is HUF? HUF is treated as a person under Income Tax Act 1961. It means it has a separate entity for purpose of tax assessment. मतलब इसका एकदम सिंपल मतलब ये है कि एक जीता जागता इंसान की तरह ट्रीट किया जाता है HUF को. Next is HUF में कौन कौन आता है? Who are the members of HUF? So HUF is a family consists from all persons lineally descended from common ancestor. जो जितने भी लोग फैमिली में जन्मे हैं वो सब जन HUF में आते हैं, इंक्लूडिंग देयर वाइफ्स एंड अनमैरिड डॉटर्स. सो HUF के लिए कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, कहीं पे जाके साइन करने की जरूरत नहीं है. HUF के लिए HUF is automatically created as the member is born in the family. So who can make an HUF? HUF can be made by Buddhists, Hindus, Sikhs and Jains and Jains. Okay. So which are the laws governing the HUF? HUF is governed by two laws. One is Income Tax Act 1961 and second is Hindu law. So the quote is, HUF is not a separate legal entity in the eyes of Companies Act, but it is a separate entity in the eyes of income tax. The difference is legal entity. As per Companies Act, it is not a separate legal entity, but for Income Tax Act, it is considered as a separate entity. जैसे मैंने बोला कि एक जीता जागता इंसान अपने साथ है, it is to be treated like that. So next. HUF का a very simple meaning of HUF is earn income. पैसे कमाओ, प्रॉपर्टी परचेस करो, इन्वेस्ट करो और बिजनेस चलाओ. इन द सेंस पैसे कमाओ, प्रॉपर्टी में इन्वेस्ट करो, एसेट में इन्वेस्ट करो और बिजनेस चलाओ. So these are the tax rates which are applicable for this current financial year, that is 24-25. These are as same as individual. If the person, as we know, the old scheme is still applicable, so these are the deductions which are applicable for HUF. First is basic exemption of 3 lakh. As per new scheme is applicable, the deduction under section 80C of 1.5 lakh in the old scheme is also applicable, 80D, 80G, but the standard deduction of 75,000 as per new scheme is not applicable. And the rebate under section 87A is also not applicable. Why these are not applicable? As these deductions are available only for salaried individuals. So let me explain you with a practical example. Suppose an individual has a salary income of 12 lakh rupees and income from rental property is 12 lakh rupees and the long term capital gain from 2 demat accounts is 3 lakh. As we know, for demat account we need same PAN. So even if there are 2 demat accounts, the PAN number is same. It is a hypothetical example. So before HUF, we will consider that same PAN is applicable for demat accounts. So as we can see the taxation rules, salary, income from house property, and deduction of house property, deduction of 30% and salary deduction of 75%. After deducting, the total income is 19,65,000 and the tax payable on this is 2,79,500. Okay, and as I told you, we are supposing that the long-term capital gain of 3 lakh rupees after deducting the exemption of 1128 is 1,25,000. So long-term gain taxable is 1,75,000, and the tax payable is 3 lakh, more than 3 lakh rupees. If a person opted for HUF, then the income gets bifurcated into individual and HUF. As you can see, income from salary is 12 lakh rupees and income from rent is 12 lakh rupees is bifurcated. As individual earns salary, so salary is bifurcated for individual and rent can be bifurcated into HUF. So after deducting the exemption, you can see the tax applicable is 68,750 for individual and HUF is 34,000. But after and suppose long-term capital gain, as I told you, there are 2 demat accounts. So if a person bifurcates his income into 2 demat accounts, one from HUF and one from individual, so the exemption of 1,25,000 can be used by him twice. So the total tax paid by him is 1,09,000. As you can see, he saved the tax of 1,92,375 rupees just by using the HUF as a tool. मुझे पता है आधे लोगों को कुछ भी नहीं समझा है. So now I will explain you in the way which I understand the concepts by taking the characters. So अपने favorite गड़ा family. Let's take Karta as Jethalal. Co-partner is Tappu, member is Daya, and HUF is Gada Electronics. So suppose the co-partner, if the Karta is not able to work or in case of death, the co-partner will become Karta. The co-partner is a member, but member cannot be a co-partner. Likewise, if suppose if a couple has no child, then the member can become Karta. In case only if a couple has no child, but if a couple has a child, then member cannot become a co-partner. So first, as I explained you, rental income. As we know, Jethalal is a कच्ची व्यापारी, बहुत दिमाग है उसके पास. So suppose Jethalal, our character, has an income between slab of 12 to 15 lakh, then the rate applicable is 20%, as we all know. And the rental income, suppose he has a rental property in Gokuldham society, so the rent applicable is 3 lakh rupees. So the rent received by him is 3 lakh rupees. Then the rate for the 3 lakh rupees rent, the slab changes to next that is 30%. So due to this 3 lakh rupees, 10% का inflate हो गया tax rate. But Jethalal तो बहुत smart है. So what he did, he bifurcated his income into individual income which is earned by him into 12 to 15 lakh at 20% slab, and HUF income and the rent income into HUF, as the basic exemption of 3 lakh rupees can be availed by him twice. And if he opted for old scheme, then obviously the basic rate may change, and the additional 1.5 lakh deduction under section 80C can be claimed by him. Now next is investing and trading, as I explained you in long-term capital gain example. So Jethalal's Dushman Iyer, long-term capital gain suppose is 2 lakh rupees. Then the long-term capital gain is taxable after exemption of 1.25 lakh is rupees 75,000 at the rate 12.5% as per new scheme. But Jethalal तो बहुत smart है. So what he did, he bifurcated his total income into 2 slabs. That is bifurcated his income into HUF and individual. So 1 lakh rupees from his individual demat and second from HUF demat. So as we know, 1.5 lakh rupees deduction is applicable. So he claimed the deduction of 1.5 lakh rupees twice. So the tax paid by him is 0. So these are the benefits of HUF. I will take one more example. Suppose जेठालाल का दुकान बंद पड़ गया, सब उसका घर बर बेच गया, but he has savings, FD है उसके पास अभी, or any interest income. So suppose if he has interest income of individual and his wife, so HUF और एक मेंबर है उनके घर का, ऐसे like this we can assume कि और एक मेंबर उनके साथ रह रहा है, so he can take the benefit of exemption of rupees 3 lakh thrice, means 9 lakh rupees तक अगर उसने इनकम ठीक से बाइफरकेट किया, so up to 9 lakh rupees he can claim the exemptions. Now HUF as a gift, कि अगर जेठालाल को कुछ गिफ्ट मिला तो क्या होगा? जेठालाल HUF को गिफ्ट मिला, ना कि जेठालाल को. जेठालाल एज अ HUF, जेठालाल गड़ा HUF. Suppose the karta, the member and the member, if these persons gifted money or anything, money or kind to HUF, then it is exempt as gifts provisions will apply. But if the gift is received by non-members, then the clubbing will be applicable in the hands of HUF. As we know the gift provision, if the gift exceeds 50,000, then it will be taxable in the hands of HUF. Okay, तो HUF के पैसे कहाँ से आ सकते हैं? How we can create the funds from HUF? First is rental income, second is business कर सकते हैं जैसे जेठालाल कर रहा था, third is interest and dividend, fourth is capital gains, but profession and commission is not allowed. Why profession is not allowed? Because profession requires skill and knowledge. So HUF is not a live person. हम उसे मान रहे हैं as per income tax act कि वो एक person है, but in reality it is not a person. So profession and commission income is not applicable for HUF. Now next, complexity. वैसे तो ये सब पॉजिटिव पॉइंट्स है, बट एक इसका नेगेटिव पॉइंट भी है, जैसे ट्रांसफरिंग ऑफ एसेट. If transferring of asset is there, consent for decisions, differences of open immobile property. एग्जाम्पल से समझाती हूँ, मुझे पता है नहीं समझा. जैसे अगर कोई भी एसेट ट्रांसफर करनी हो तो डिसीजन लेना पड़ेगा. दया का डिसीजन, टप्पू का डिसीजन, चंपक चाचा का डिसीजन, 4 अलग अलग ओपिनियंस. तो इसके वजह से वो प्रॉपर्टी बेचने से अच्छा है रहने दो पड़ी हुई. इट्स लाइक दैट. हाउ टू मेक HUF? कोई आंसर नहीं है इसका, शादी कर लो HUF बन जाएगा. बट हाउ टू रजिस्टर HUF? फॉर श्योर इसका आंसर है अपने पास. तो HUF रजिस्टर, सो टू रजिस्टर द HUF वी हैव टू गिव ऑन द स्टैम्प पेपर द एफिडेविट ऑफ द डेट ऑफ मैरिज और बर्थ ऑफ फर्स्ट चाइल्ड. HUF डिक्लेरेशन स्टैम्प पेपर पे, उसके साथ पैन कार्ड एंड आधार कार्ड ऑफ कर्ता. द एफिडेविट लुक्स लाइक दिस. सी जेठालाल चंपकलाल गड़ा, सबका नाम है चंपकलाल गड़ा, दया गड़ा, टप्पू गड़ा, इन सबका नाम इस एफिडेविट पे होगा. उसके बाद ही वी कैन, सो दिस डीड इज सबमिटेड टू इनकम टैक्स पोर्टल विथ पैन एंड आधार, पेइंग द प्रिस्क्राइब्ड फीस, और फिर HUF रजिस्टर हो जाएगा. सो वन ऑफ द इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्सेप्ट. सो सपोज वी नो बेस्ट फ्रेंड तारक मेहता एंड जेठालाल. अब जेठालाल ने क्या सोचा, लेट्स मेक अ पार्टनरशिप. पार्टनरशिप कैसे? HUF ऑफ जेठालाल गड़ा एंड HUF ऑफ तारक मेहता. बट द लॉ सेज पार्टनरशिप ओनली व्हेन 2 रियल पर्संस आर इन्वॉल्व. मतलब इसका मतलब क्या है? जेठालाल एंड तारक मेहता must be included in the partnership. 2 HUF cannot make a partnership until उसमें 2 जिंदा इंसान हो. So I hope I gave you some insights and overviews about HUF, and if you want to register to HUF, we are here to help you at SN Associates. Thank you.